Awesome. I think we are live now. We will just take a moment to make sure that we are actually live. Yes, I think we are. Awesome. Hello and welcome to this live. I'm Yash, co-founder and chief executive at Clientjoy, and I'm joined by Anupama, head of product at Clientjoy. Anupama, say hello.
Hi everyone.
One of the key things why we started this live session series was because when we were looking at our help chat and support tickets, we found that most folks had questions around things that are already possible within ClientJoy. But because the feature was not discoverable, our users were deploying some sort of inefficient workarounds. We've always wanted ClientJoy to be as simple and as minimalistic as possible. But even though we try to do that, since there are over 150 features, there are just limitless possibilities in the product. Some things get lost and buried within menus inevitably. The goal of this live session is to share some journeys of the product that will make using ClientJoy even more blissful and efficient with you. With that, Anupama, welcome to this live. What are we going to talk about today?
So today we are going to talk about like how can you collect recurring payments from your retainer clients.
And so, can we talk a little bit around what are the situations in which some person might want to collect recurring payments?
Sure. So I'll give you two examples. So one is, when you are, so let's consider that you are a content writing agency. Then you are engaged with your clients sometimes in a way that, you are writing n number of posts for them in a month. So for example, let's consider in this case that I'm writing five posts for my client every month. Then what happens is like you charge them recurringly for those posts. So in those scenarios, you can send them a recurring invoice, and if you are using Stripe, you can also auto charge them. So that we just save their credit card and it automatically bills them every month. So no hassle of reminders, manually making the payments and everything.
Awesome. And
Second,
so what you're trying to say is that previously, let's say if I was engaged as a content writer or a web designer or a developer, or let's say if I've done like an annual maintenance contract or something like that, or if I'm charging a retainer fee, what I used to have to do is that at the end of every month or every quarter or every 6 months, depending upon the agreement that I had with them, I had to raise an invoice manually and then follow up with them for the payment also manually. Inevitably, causing me to waste a lot of time because raising invoices and following up for payments should not be a core function and is not a core function. I typically want to focus on writing content. I want to focus on designing graphics and I want to focus on developing websites as a freelancer or agency. That's where I want to implement or spend most of my time, and I would have to do all of those activities. And so today what you're going to show is primarily where using Clientjoy you can raise recurring invoices. Not just that, if you're also using Clientjoy and Stripe and you've integrated that, which is by the way a two-click integration, then you can also start subscriptions for your clients, which means that it will auto debit once the invoice has been raised as well. And so there are going to be some queries and concerns in terms of what if the amounts have to be changed and what if items have to be changed a couple of times, and we'll talk a little bit about that also. And so before we dive straight into the product and check them out, what I would recommend is that wherever you're listening to us, do join us on our community. We've got a very vibrant community of over 1,200 of our users and customers. That's on facebook.com/groups/clientjoy. This is where we talk about how can we improve Clientjoy as a product. We ask questions around what are the things that are expected out of a product like Clientjoy. We genuinely treat those folks as our partners, and they kind of give us a lot of love in return as well. And sometimes they also get angry on us and they want, because they want us to perform better and do better as well. And so do join in on that community as well. The other thing that I would also like to mention is that we are working on some very exciting features as of now. And we've also done work. We've just released a new dashboard. We released a new navigation menu for Clientjoy. If you want to see what we've been up to for the last 6 months or a year or so, just head over to updates.clientjoy.io and you'll be able to find all of that very well logged. The other quick thing that I want to mention is that if you want to help us make a better product, if you want to help us make a feature that performs better and that is robust from day one, then do consider joining our beta program. What our beta program essentially means is that once we start designing and conceptualizing the feature, we obviously post that in the community and we ask for feedbacks. But once the development is done, we give access to a very small group of people. We've got already about 50 odd folks who've signed up for our beta program. And so we give them access to give us feedback in terms of whether we've implemented the flows correctly, whether the software is working the way that they're expecting it to work on. And so if you want to get access to features earlier than everyone else, then do consider joining the Clientjoy beta program as well. Towards the end of this session, we'll also talk about some of the things that exciting things that we are currently working on. But enough about all of that. I think, Anupama, it's time to share your screen and just help us take through how do I make sure that we can charge subscriptions to our clients recurringly and not waste time in manually raising invoices and manually following up for payments.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, so I'll just explain. So first of all, like I'm logged into my Clientjoy account. So I'm on the invoices tab. So it is available right there in the new navigation. You can directly reach from clicking here. So here you can see all your invoices. So for creating a recurring subscription, what we will have to do is that we will have to first create a recurring invoices. So before I start the journey of how to create a recurring invoice, I would like to first tell you like what are the prerequisite things that you have to do before you start creating your invoice. So one of the thing is that like you will have to configure your payment method. So if you go to settings, so from here you can directly access your payment methods, and in the payment methods you will have to just like I have it opened. Yeah, so here you will have to reconfigure Stripe, right? So if you have a Stripe account, it's just a one-click setup that you have to do. So like the auto payment feature right now is available only in Stripe with Clientjoy. So sooner it will, soon it will also come in PayPal. So first you just connect your Stripe account. Second thing is that.
And so just before we move on to the second step, I just want to make sure that everybody understands this as clearly as possible. So folks, Clientjoy is a preferred partner of PayPal, Stripe, Payoneer, Razorpay, and InstaMojo. We also have Square as a payment gateway coming along the way. And so the screen that you are seeing right now is that where you configure your payment methods. And so typically, let's say if you're an agency in the UK that is working with customers across the world. So let's say if you have clients in US and some in Singapore and so on and so forth. Let's say if your US clients want to pay you via PayPal, your Singapore clients want to pay you via Payoneer, you can configure both of them along with Stripe or any other payment gateway that you use to accept payments. You can configure all of them. Clientjoy will allow you to raise recurring invoices. However, for you to be able to recurringly charge their credit card or charge your client's payment method, that is only available via Stripe right now, right? So even if you choose PayPal as a payment method on your invoices can be recurringly generated, and they'll send out all the requisite reminders. They'll send out everything that's supposed to happen. That will happen the way that it's supposed to, and you'd expect. Just that with Stripe, you'll be able to also auto debit your client's payment method.
Yeah. So when you will be creating your invoice, you will be asked like, which payment method you want to choose. So offline or online, whichever you have configured, you can actually choose per invoice, like, for which client also it is going based on that. So like after connecting your payment methods, you can also look at, this. So I'm just looking at the company information. So here you can actually fill in your company's address, which is your billing address, and the same you do for the customer. So when you are actually creating your client, you also add their billing address. So once both these details are filled, they are auto filled in your invoice whenever you are creating a new invoice. Second is that when you are creating the invoice, there you need to show the address of your company and your customers client's company. So in this area, so if you go to the invoice, in the formatting section, you can actually configure like how do you want that address to be displayed. So if you have used some custom fields like GST number or any other custom field like PO number, so you can actually make it visible inside your invoice by configuring. Like for example, in this situation, I'm showing like how my company information will be visible to my clients in the invoice. So like the company name will come first, then the address, then the CIN number. So you can just like click over here, and so these are all the fields which are available for you to display in the address section. And once you click here, they appear in this section. So this is how it is will be visible. And if you go to this customer address, then this is how you define like what would be visible in your customer address. So these were just some of the things that you need to first set up before you create an invoice. Then next is like items. So items is like if you go to the sales menu, you just go to items. So these are the products and services which you are offering to your clients. So you can pre-configure them. So for example, let's consider that we are using the website hosting and maintenance. This is a service which I have auto configured. So what it will do is that when I'm creating that product and service, I can auto fetch them in the invoices or proposals. So I just select them, and its description, its price, its taxes, its units, everything gets auto filled. So these are the things. So let's now start the journey of creating the invoice. So I'll go to the invoices, and I just create a new invoice. So I have a client called Harvey Specter for this session. So just choosing that, and generally Harvey Specter charges fee. So they
Typically,
will be
Harvey
charging
Specter
and
is the yeah. Typically, Harvey Specter is the one. I mean, he doesn't need to raise invoice, I think, but
yeah.
yeah. So typically, he's the one who does the invoicing.
Yes. So let's say that we are a web development company, and I am raising a annual recurring invoice to my client. So I'll be just choosing this website hosting and maintenance. So you can see that all these details got auto-filled, and I want to give, for example, let's say a discount of 10% to Harvey Specter. So then you just save it. Okay. Sorry for the alignment. Yeah. Okay. So my invoice preview is visible in this section. You can see that the service that I'm offering is visible here. So what else I can do in this is that I can actually, define the date of invoice, like when should it go. So let's say if I'm, sending this invoice today, then my invoice date is today. But if you want to, I want it to be scheduled for, like I'm creating it early. I want it to go after 2 days. Then if I just, choose my invoice date as like the 6th May, then you can see that I get the option of scheduling the invoice. So what will it do is that it will be auto sent on 6th May. I can just create and get done with my job. But for this example, I am just choosing it for today because I have to show you the journey next is as well. Then here in the payment method sections, I can choose Stripe. So I'm just removing everything else for now. Yes. And here you get the option of creating a recurring invoice. So for recurring payments, a recurring invoice is a must thing. From here you can choose recurring invoice. So when you are creating a recurring invoice, you have to define like how frequently this invoice will be sent. Like what is the interval for it? So is it a monthly? It is a yearly. So in this case, I'll be choosing yearly. You can choose as per your requirement. And what is the interval? Interval. So here, like every 1 year, it should go. That is why big one. If you want like every 6 months, then you can just put 6 months and then yeah, choose six over here. And here you will see that how many times it should be sent. So if you are in a contract of 3 years, 4 years, 6 months, you can actually
So
choose like the
let's
number
take a
of.
case. Let's take a case where it's an annual contract and I need to send it out quarterly.
Okay. So in that case, I'll be sending them every 3 months,
Got it.
like
Got it.
this.
So interval is where I say, okay, it's got to go quarterly, and then time sent is I think where I choose four,
Four.
and so
Yes.
that would mean that every 3 months this invoice will go out for 4 times, and so that makes the contract to be annual.
Yes. Yes. So
Awesome.
that is also how you can see it. So if I, just like choose like 4 times, then after 4 times, the recurring will automatically stop. Like the next fifth invoice will not go. So this is okay. And then here are the other fields that if you have, populated any custom field that will appear here. If you are using any, predefined terms and condition, it will also come here. Okay. So now I think if you can also choose a template of your choice from these available templates. So these automatically takes the color of your choice. So for now, I am taking this first invoice template. Okay, let's send it now. So once you click on the send, it will ask you to actually, update the email that is going. So you can define the email templates. I will just show you where. So here I am in the settings. This is visible to all the admins and owners. In this menu of this setup, you will find email template sections. In the email template section, you can customize email for invoices, proposals, customers. So I am on the invoices tab too. And then here I will say that, send invoice to customer, right? So if I click over here, I can update the template as per my need, right? So this is the default Clientjoy template which is available, but you can actually, customize it as per your needs. You can use like merge fields. These are the dynamic fields or variables that you can also call. So,
So for people who may
yeah.
not know merge fields, can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. So these are generally, personalizations that you want to do in the email. So, you want to, in a sentence, you want to use the your, contact's name, their email, their company, their addresses, invoice number, invoice amount. So you can just, use these, like merge fields to personalize the email content. So you just put your cursor where you want to insert there and click on the field and it will, be populated.
Oh,
So,
so I can basically do stuff like
okay.
I can do stuff like invoice. I can add an invoice amount. So I could write a statement where I say hey, receiver name from receiver company. Here's the invoice for the work we did last month for you as per our agreement. This is the invoice number, which is due, which is the amount of invoice amount due by invoice due date, right? I mean, so every time I don't have to add those details, it will just pick up the details from the creation of invoices, right?
Yes. So there is
Oh,
one
wow.
shortcut as well to insert a merge field. So if you want to take the shorter path, you just like click on the bracket open. So it will just give you the list then and there only, and you can select
So that's the
that.
square bracket you mean?
Yes, square bracket.
Got it.
Okay. So once you are done, customizing your email template, you can just save it from here. So once you save it, after that, all the emails that goes will take this template. Okay. I'll come back to the original invoice. Yes. So now I'll just send it. One more thing. So if you want to schedule this invoice, or this recurring invoice for your choice of date, then you can just click schedule from here as well. So this will also schedule the invoice. You can choose the date, the time zone, and the time from here.
And so
So if,
just so that we're clear, basically what you're trying to say is that, let's say, if in this case, as you're signing a web development contract with Harvey Specter, let's say your proposal that you sent via Clientjoy was accepted on 16th of April, right? But the contract was to start on 1st of March. And so you don't want to remember on 1st of March that you have to start raising your recurring invoices. And so what you'll do is, as soon as the proposal was accepted, you'll basically just click on convert to invoice, like convert proposal to invoice, which is going to be a separate session, by the way. But you'll just basically click on convert proposal to invoice, and then set all of your sorry, set all of your, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
set all of your invoices. You can schedule them on the dates when the contract starts.
Yeah, and so I could basically say, set all of my invoice terms, and I'm not really sure why why is this happening, but um, um, so basically set all of your invoice terms, when the invoices are going to be due, um, on 16th of April itself, and then say, hey, just raise it on 1st of May, and then make sure that it's due by 7th of May, and then raise it quarterly. Is that what we are saying?
Yes, yes. Sure. So the first email that when is to be sent, that you can schedule, and then it will automatically, the next invoices will be automatically generated on your invoice date. So the invoice date that you are choosing is also of importance. So if you are choosing like 5th of this month, then every 5th of that month, that invoice will be sent. Yeah. Okay. So I, okay. Okay, I was going to send it. I closed it. Sorry for that. Just I'll send it. Yeah. You can use Grammarly if if any grammatical errors it can find easily. So this is not a brand promotion. It is just something that I use, and it helps. Okay.
This live video
So
is brought to you
once
by
the invoice is
Grammarly. Check out Grammarly and use the code Clientjoy20 to get 20% off. Let's do that. But Grammarly is just in public service, right? It's something that you may already know about. But it's super awesome, super simple. The free version is good enough for most people. Use it. Make sure that whatever you write, whatever you're sending out digitally, does not have any grammatical errors, and it just makes a good impression in front of your clients, right? So
yes, yes.
and now just trying to go back from that segue to coming to invoicing. Please continue.
Yeah. Okay. So once your invoice is sent, we are out of the editor mode, and you can see that your audit trail is visible of that invoice. So it is showing that like I started, creating this invoice 10 minutes ago, and it was sent a few seconds ago. So basically, this audit trail will capture each and every activity that is happening with the invoice. So when the email is sent, when your client opens the email, when he makes the payment, when the next recurring invoice will be generated. So, this is going to be kind of a timeline for everything that has happened. So, if you want to go back in time and see, exactly what are the things that has happened, you can always refer to the audit trail. So, this audit trail is visible, like it is available in all the invoices and proposals, and also to your leads and clients. Okay, so okay, now let's see the journey of your client. So I have sent this invoice. So I'm using an email service, temporary email service for now. So you can see that they would receive an email of your email template, and when your client, click on the invoice, it will open the invoice.
You know what you're confusing Clientjoy. On one hand, on one hand, Clientjoy thinks that, hey, Alex White is using Clientjoy to raise a recurring invoice, and then in the same browser you're opening the invoice that you just sent out, and so now Clientjoy is thinking that Alex White is also the client, and so you primarily just confusing. But I think we've done this before, and so yeah, please carry on. But for folks, if you're testing out Clientjoy, what I would highly recommend you to do is, if you're testing, just open the client related links or public facing links of Clientjoy in a separate browser. So that could be Safari, whatever it is. It could be an incognito mode as well, but just open it in different browser. You don't want to confuse the software, because we know that, and just make sure that when you're testing, you're just using two different browsers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the invoice is here. It's open, and you can see that the pay button is available here. Your client can have a look at the invoice, and they can just make the payment. You see that this payment button is purple, but this is something like I have used like a custom script and custom CSS for my invoices, proposals, and client portal. So I have like made all the buttons purple. That is why it is coming purple. It will not come purple in your case. So idea is that if you can use custom CSS and custom scripts if you want to customize this page according to your need. If you want analytics on this, if you want your feedback, support, chat, anything on this, so you can just put it using custom scripts and custom CSS. I'll
Yeah.
just show
So
you
what
that
are
as
what are a
well
lot
where
of
to
our
put it.
yeah. So a lot of what are we will keep that for another episode, Anupama, using custom scripts and custom CSS. But a lot of our customers, one of the things that they do is that they embed their talk.to widget, or they embed their HubSpot or Intercom, or all of those chat widgets on their client pages. They also kind of track analytics of when were they opened, how many times were they opened, and so on and so forth. But how to do that is something that you can discover on your own, or wait for an episode, and we'll do that's going to be a little longish episode, because the possibilities are just endless, right? So you're just limited by your imagination, and so we'll keep that for another episode though.
Yes, yes. So we will not, cover the whole thing in this. I'll just show you the tab in which it is visible, so that you can just that because I've covered it. So here in the client pages, you will see there is a setting called client pages. If you will go here, you will get an option to insert the custom CSS and custom script. So from there you can access it. Okay, so then your client will make the payment. So they will just click on the pay button, and your Stripe's payment gateway will open up. What it will do is that so your customer's billing address will be auto filled, and your customer can put in their card details. And here you will see that your customer is shown this option, like for their consent, that turn on auto pay for this recurring invoices. So they will have to select this option to actually turn on the recurring payments. So we need their consent. So you like when you are communicating to your clients, ensure that tell them that to just turn on this, choose this option, just select this option. Then only recurring payments will get started. Otherwise, it will be just a recurring invoices. So let me put in some card details. These are just some test card details. So some random details. Okay, so let's make the payment. So this request goes to Stripe, and once the payment is done, you will see that a notification also came to me because I am logged in as agency as well. So I just got a desktop notification because that was turned on for me, and this invoice is instantly made change its status to the paid. And I okay, so let's look at just refresh it. So your invoice is paid. Your client will receive a notification, email notification. You will also receive an email notification, desktop notification that the invoice is paid. You can also look at.
That's
So
the
if I
most
will open
beautiful
this notification,
notification that
sound.
client sends out, right? So when an
Yes,
invoice gets paid, there's just no feeling like it.
yes. So you can see that this notification is available here. Yeah. Okay. So here in the audit trail, again we are here. You can see that payment of 9,000 was received, and this is done. How will you know that this invoice is, recurring payment was turned on or not? So that could be the next question. So we'll again go back to the invoices, and
I think we missed out an
this was the
important
invoice
aspect as
which I.
well. So can you just go into the invoice first?
Okay.
And so when we say that we are preferred partners of Stripe, one of the key things that we want to highlight, or with PayPal, Payoneer, and all of them, one of the key things that we want to highlight is that they are not just payment gateways that are integrated, right? So as you can see over here, just below the total amount, it says when it was made, how it was made, and the transaction ID that you will see in Stripe. And so you'll also be able to reconcile the payment between the payment gateways that you're using and the invoicing that happens on Clientjoy, right? And so Stripe actually collects the payment and then lets Clientjoy know for its customers that this was the transaction ID through which the payment was made. Just wanted to kind of make sure that we covered that as well. And so moving to the question that you were asking, the all important one.
Yeah. Okay. So how will you know that this when this payment happened, the client actually turned on the auto pay? So you can see that this is the invoice which is listed, and we have this column called auto pay. When your client actually just chooses the recurring payment option, this becomes yes, and if they do not, then this becomes no. So from here you can know whether they turn it on or not. Yes. Okay. Then we can move to the next part is that some questions could be like if I sent an invoice, recurring invoices, and this was that was the first time that I was working with that client. After working 1 or 2 months, my client actually liked my service, and they want to like have 1 or 2 more services which my agency offer, or let's say that I was doing web development for them, but they want now to do the hosting or the web design as well. So how will what will I do in this situation? So you can actually update your recurring invoices. So let's say that you were billing them for $10,000 till like 3 or 4 months. Now you want to change the amount to $15,000. Then without creating a new recurring invoices in the same recurring invoices, you can actually update it so that the next invoices or and the continuing invoices that will be going, they will be of $15,000. If you want to change the date, if you want to change the person, for example, if your client's point of contact changes, so all those things you can update. So I'll just show you how you will be able to do that. So you can just open the invoice that you want to update for the next cycle. Here, okay, so so in the options, you will see that this update next recurring invoices directly. So I'll just click on that. Okay. So basically, when you click on see next recurring invoice, what it does is it opens the invoice, next invoice which is going to go, and it opens it in the edit mode. So you can actually update it. So let's say that I'll be adding one more service in this. Uh, Let me add something. Design also. So let's save it. So you can see that now my contract value is updated. Like there is an additional $1,200, which was, that service was added because of the 10% discount. It is coming. Number is 8. Okay. So now I'll just do. I will show you what else you can change. So you can change the recipient. You can change the date. You can change the payment method. So earlier you were, for example, now we have also integrated with Payoneer, PayPal. So if you want to change that, that is also possible. If you want to change the interval, so everything you can change. You want to change the template, again, that can happen from here. Same settings are available. Okay, so once done, review the changes that you have done. So this is the next invoices. The number is not available here. So this is not XXX. Basically, what it means is that your invoice number will autofill when this invoice will be generated based on like what is the next sequence that will be coming in. So you just do the save and exit, and your changes are saved. Uh, so okay, so that's how it will happen.
There was this awesome thing that Mike Tyson once said, right? So Anupama, by the way, here is presenting a great scenario where a service was added, uh, but a lot of times, typically the services are reduced for some or the other budgetary constraints, right? So there's this awesome thing that Mike Tyson once said. He said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So so most things in life and in your agency is not going to go according to the plan, and so it's very reasonable that a recurring invoice where you've, let's say, signed a contract for a year or a couple of years might need some changes, some additions, some subtractions, and so on and so forth. And so this basically will allow you to kind of do that as well. And so it is these kind of little things that make Clientjoy special, right? Because since we're working specifically for agencies and freelancers, we know that things don't go according to plan. Clients will add or remove services even though you may have signed an annual contract, and so that's why these journeys are super important.
So two more journeys I want to show like very fastly. These are some of the frequently asked questions that comes up. Is that
Sure,
uh,
please show those
how
journeys
do I
very, very
see like
fastly.
all the invoices? Yes, yes. How do I see all the invoices that are sent, or how do I stop my recurring invoices? So, for example, like for some like unforeseen reasons or unfortunate reasons, you have to like cancel the contract in between, then you want to stop the recurring invoices or auto payments. So how can you do that? So if again just open this, like this is a triple dot, this is a treasure. So any option that you want to find, just find those triple that you will find that option
So
if it is
here's a
available in
good way to
Clientjoy.
think about Clientjoy. The thing that you're expecting, the thing that you think that Clientjoy as a software should be able to do this particular task, or Clientjoy as a software should be able to do X, Y, or Z. There's a very high probability that we've built it, and there's an even higher probability that it is hidden under the triple dot, right? So if you think that this is something that Clientjoy should have, there's most likely it is under the triple dot. So wherever you are, just click on triple dots, right? And that will just help you immensely.
Yes, thanks. Okay, so again, you will see this option, see recurring invoice thread. So basically what it will do is that it will show you all the recurring invoices that have been sent in that thread. So this is, in this example, there was only one. Let me go to some old, let's say this one. Okay, yeah. So this is how you will see that, this was the invoice number which was sent, what was the amount, what is its status. So this is how you will see your recurring invoice thread. You can just stop
Hmm. This
stop
this
the
Harvey
recurring.
guy pays on time, huh?
Yeah, he was
Great.
auto billed.
Oh, great. Oh, got it. So that was Clientjoy, not Harvey.
Yeah. Okay, so stop sending recurring invoice. So you just click on that. It will stop the recurring cycle. If there is a, like you want to just stop the auto payment and not the recurring invoices, then like wherever there is this yes, you will see a stop auto payment option as well. So it will just stop the auto payment. So these were like one or two questions that comes, which I have answered. Yash.
Awesome, Air. Thank you for answering those questions, and thank you for making my job here redundant.
Acha, I'll make
I
it. I'll make it even more redundant. So if you guys have any questions, right? If you are not live right now, you are going to see the video later. You have the question. Just like wherever you are watching, put it in the comments. If you can tag me and Yash best. If you can't tag me, just put it in the comments. We will answer you.
thank you for making my job redundant. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I had, by the way, for the people who are watching, I had written all of these questions. That hey, what happens in this case? What happens in that case? How will you take care of this and that, and so on and so forth. I spent, I think, my a large part, a better part of my afternoon thinking of things from our users' perspective to ask questions to Anupama today about recurring invoices. But that's the way it is, right? So under commit over deliver type scenario, and so thank you, Anupama, for doing that. And so before we let you go, we have I think 4 or 5 minutes on this call. And so before we let you go, one of the key things that I want to ask you and understand from you is what are some of the next interesting initiatives that are coming up? If you could talk a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah. So I'll share about like the next two things that will be,
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to see in the May, and you can be excited about that as well. So you just know that we released our first version of the dashboard, where you can see like the things that need your attention, that helps you in decision making. So that was just the first part of it. That is not it. Like I said it earlier as well. So the more charts, the more insights will be coming in. So you will be able to see what is happening in your sales pipeline. You will be able to see like what is happening with your leads, your clients, what is happening in your revenue invoices. So there will be some new charts that will be coming up, and you will also be getting a weekly email from Clientjoy, which will be summarizing, like for example, for some reason you were not able to log in into Clientjoy and check like what happened in your absence. But if you are an agency owner or maybe admin, so you will receive that information in your email, like how many leads were added, how many customers were in, clients were added, how many invoices were paid, how many invoices got expired, and more. There are more. I'm just telling a few. So that will be landed in your invoice every week. And the second thing that is coming is the client portal 2.0. So something that you have been waiting, all of you are waiting and been waiting passionately about it, and we know that it's just around the corner. So Yash happened to share some of the like the screenshots as well in the community today. So with that, you will be able to actually customize the whole client portal in terms of every agency has a different requirement. They want to offer transparency into execution to the clients. So you can share. You want to share with onboarding guides with them. You want to share reports with them. You want to share documents, folders, videos, whatever you want to share that is hosted on client. You can actually create that as a tab in Clientjoy 2.0, and once your client log in, they will be able to see what they are up to, what you are up to, the progress reports, everything that you want.
Got it. And so just before we end this call, just a couple of things. The reason why we're working on dashboard insights and the weekly email. So there's a very fundamental philosophy that we used to follow when we used to be an IT service company, which we grew from a 2 people operation to a 55 people operation. And this is something that kind of accelerated our growth as well. We firmly believe that what gets measured gets done, right? If you don't measure the progress on things, if you don't measure the status quo of key metrics of your agency or freelancing practice, it's just not going to improve, and it may deteriorate without you without you noticing, right? And so the weekly email and insights on dashboard are going to help you keep tabs on your business, right? So know what clients know things like what's your average revenue per client, how many clients are active, what's the amount of payments that you received in this week, and as compared to your performance last week, how have they been, how many leads were added, how many leads were moved across the sales pipeline, and so on and so forth, right? So we realize that all of these metrics might not be important for you, but some of them will be very key, and you may want to focus on some of those metrics quarter on quarter, right? So that's the reason why we're working on dashboard and insights. And as far as the custom client portal is concerned, we've been working on that for I think about 4 odd weeks, and it's supposed to come out by end of May, latest by end of May. And so the key aspect where Clientjoy is just much better and much ahead of some of our competition is how we want to enable the communication and contextual communication between an agency and a client, right? One of the things that we realize is that more than 70% of an agency's business or a freelancer's business comes from their existing clients, right? So it could come from more work from existing clients, or it could come from referrals that come in from them. And so it becomes extremely important for you to offer an amazing experience to your clients of them working with you, right? And so a client portal that is completely custom branded, your logo, your domain, your color scheme, your custom CSS and custom scripts is something that we'll have a separate session on. But not just that, also the fact that the updates that you're offering over emails and chat messages and stuff like that, what if you could just replace all of that, right? So you can embed Google Analytics, you can embed, so if you're a digital marketing agency, just embed Ahref for Google Analytics. If you're an engineering company offering IT services, just embed your Jira or your GitHub. If you're into UI UX, or if you're a designer, embed your Figma, whatever it is, whatever web-based tool that you're using to internally collaborate on, or also to share updates with your clients, you'll just be able to embed that into Client Portal, right? And so that means that the onboarding of your clients plus the journey of your clients throughout the project is super seamless with you and your team members, and you don't have to move out of the current softwares as well, right? So just these two couple of things that I wanted to share before. And so while we end, just a quick reminder, if you have not joined our community, join in on facebook.com/groups/Clientjoy. This is where we discuss what we are going to build next. We ask for opinions. We want to learn from you as to how Clientjoy can improve and help you run your agency better. If you want to know what we've been working on in recent past, just go to updates.clientjoy.io, and we have created like the whole list of things that we've worked on. If you want to help us build a better Clientjoy, join our beta program on clientjoy.io/partner/beta program. That's it from Anupama and I today. Thank you for joining in. I hope this was helpful. Do let us know in the comments over here which session should we talk about next, and we'll see you next Wednesday, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ta-da.